Welcome back to part 2 of the Chapter 4 trial. We have solved the mystery of the fun house. So now it's basically just solving who did the kill. Which, it might be ruled a suicide like the other game. I don't know, I highly doubt it. But, I guess we're gonna find out.
I'm trying to force myself to be more energetic, or else my mental state won't be able to keep up. My heart's thumping like crazy.
Cool.
I might as well have a laid-back, so what attitude and go ahead with high energy. Yeehaw! But be careful that your batteries don't run out for various reasons. And just like I say each time, don't forget to save frequently.
I save all the time.
I never expected the funhouse itself to be the ultimate weapon. Oh well, let's just press on ahead.
Yeah.
Is it really alright to accept a situation so easily?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what's important. The thing that's really important is the killer who used the building structure. Like, who's Mekomaru's murderer?
But is it really okay to believe the building is the weapon? Nagito said it, you know.
Yeah, but he's fine.
There's no way I'd lie at such an important moment. I don't want to die either.
What happened to the bastard who kept saying how much they didn't mind dying?
Well,
He's right. There was a time when I thought I could become a stepping stone for your hopes, but I will sincerely retract that remark.
ooh.
Retract?
I'm disappointed too, you know. If this was a murder for the sake of hope, I'd happily sacrifice myself.
But it's not.
You say such falsehoods, per usual. There is no such thing as murder for the sake of hope. Murder is simply murder.
No. There is murder for the sake of hope of living.
Forcibly sacrificing others for one's own desires. Even one as diabolical as I would avoid such actions.
I don't believe you.
I see.
It's fine. Let's just leave him alone and find out who killed Coach Nekomaru as fast as we can. Just so you know, it's not like I'm getting hungry or anything, you know.
Akane! You're drooling waterfalls?
Well, she's hungry. Negative as usual, I can't tell what he's thinking. I have no idea if he's serious. Or not.
Anyway, if the killer used the building structure, why don't we think about how they used it?
How they killed Nekomaru.
Well,
It might be better if we clarify the cause of death first, don't you think?
with the wire wrapped around him is still something. And where's cause of death? He was horribly damaged if he was beaten senseless with a blunt object, but if he was beaten with a blunt object, it wouldn't be a kill that utilized the building structure. So what was Nekomaru's cause of death that was also utilized the building structure? Beaten by a blunt object, dead battery, crushed by the elevator, falling. Crushed or fallen? Fallen.
I see!
That's it? I think he might have died from falling.
Died from falling?
If the funhouse's secret is that it's a structure where both towers and houses are vertically connected, then the killer made use of its height and caused Nekomaru to die from falling.
Makes sense.
Are you saying they pushed him off? Where'd they push him off from?
That I don't know yet.
Don't just make things up when you don't know the method. Where in that building would you even be able to push someone off in the first place?
If you forcibly open one of the elevator doors.
It might be possible in the tower. You could push him off the 4th floor when the elevator is on the 1st floor.
Did you forget how the elevator functions? When it's on the first floor, the door on the 4th floor won't open.
I would explain why there's blood on the top of that pedestal. Because he would have hit it on the way down, he would have came down, he would have died.
Saying he died from falling is truly incorrect. You should burn in the flames of hell.
Cool, Gundam.
But my gut is going crazy right now.
If Nekomaru died from falling, where did the killer show Nekomaru from? If I'm going to reach the truth behind this incident and do solve that mystery next. This is a deep dive. There's an argument. Fuck! Good night button. Yeah, I gotta be careful here.
When the elevator is on the 1st floor, you can't go through the door on the 4th floor.
It'd be impossible to shove off the victim from up there.
Then, how about this?
About what?
After locking Mekamaru inside the elevator, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor and made use of the drop.
Hold on. Did you forget the elevator has a sensor? As long as there's a moving object inside, the other door won't open. Which means the elevator wouldn't have moved either.
Where's the goodnight button? I think I was already on
threshold of that elevator.
Fuck! I need to make it clear that instead Nekomaro fell to his death. Looks like it's all up to me.
When the elevator is on the 1st floor,
You can't go through the door.
Good night button.
Then, after locking they moved the elevator from the 4th and
No.
made use of the drop.
Hold on. Did you forget the... As long as there's a moving object inside...
Goodnight button. Boom, bitch! There's a way. I said that would come into
should only
play.
work if something is moving. If Nekomaru wasn't moving inside, the elevator sensor wouldn't have detected anything.
Even though Nekomaro said that his function should still be caught by the sensor, I don't
Could
believe
it
it.
be his sleep mode?
When Nekomaru's goodnight button is pressed, all of his functions shut down, and he enters sleep mode. If he's in sleep mode, the elevator sensor wouldn't have noticed him, right?
I see. So that's how...
However, even if they moved the elevator in that manner, Nekomaru would have just moved along with it.
Unless it was quick.
There would have been no
Oh.
drop for him to fall and die from. Yes.
The wire.
That's what I was about to explain, before Kazuichi interrupted me. Silence, pest!
Now you're calling me a pest?
Christ, you don't like him. A way to create the drop inside the elevator while Nekomaru is still in it. Chiaki seems to have an idea, but what could that be? Wire. Not the chain, the wire. And the broken doorknob works too, I guess.
If you arrange it a certain way, you can cause the drop within the elevator.
So you're telling us all to think about the arrangement, right?
Yeah.
That arrangement is... The hammer is suspicious.
isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
What about the oil on the floor?
The doorknob on the floor seems suspicious.
Wire in the
I agree
doorknob.
with that.
Would have taken a lot of force.
Didn't the doorknob have scrape marks on it?
Oh, you it did.
That might have been where it got scraped by the wire.
You're damn straight it would have.
Is that the same wire that was tied around Nekomaru?
Yep.
The tip of that wire was tied into a loop. If the elevator moved while that loop part hung from the doorknob,
If they did something like that, he would have been suspended in midair.
Until he
That's
fell.
right. He was suspended in midair. Huh? The killer tied up Nekomaru with the wire while he was in sleep mode, tied the tip of the wire into a knot, and hung it on the doorknob to the 4th floor. With that, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor of Grape Tower
This is a brilliant kill, just saying.
and suspended Nekomaru in midair.
That's right! He was so well hung! Kinda like...
You better not finish that sentence.
the killer took advantage of the elevator's unique feature. Only the floor moved. By doing that, they created a drop so Nekomaru could fall to his death.
Too easy.
Kazuichi, why are you gonna fight me on this?
So what if they created a drop? There's no way you can make him fall and die with just that. What? If Nekomaru is suspended in midair like that, then how do you get him to fall? Because if he's suspended in midair, he won't die if he doesn't actually fall.
You're right, but why are you arguing this? Tipped over pillar, no looking hammer, clock, radio clock, broken doorknob.
Even if they suspended Nekomaru from a wire, how would they make him fall? There's no one in the tower to push him. There's no way they could do that.
It doesn't mean someone had to push him off. It's possible that he fell on his own.
What? Nekomaru fell on his own? Nekomaru should have still been in sleep mode, right?
No. Why did I refute that?
Crap! What? Nekomaru, if he was sleeping, there's no way he could do that to himself. Now's the time, but in that case, you still won't be able to. Moving the elevator with Nekomaru is just impossible. End of story.
Well, thanks, Chris. I think I figured out how the killer dropped Nekomaru. Alright, if I use that event, I should be able to break because we...
What? Nekomaru fell on his own?
Ain't that?
Crap! What? Nekomaru should have still been in sleep mode, right? If he was sleeping, there's no way he could do that to himself. Now's the time if you want to take back that sleep mode, but in that case...
Tree.
Damn it! Even if they suspended Nekomaru from a... How would they make him fall? There's no one in the tower to push him off. There's no way they could
Flush
do
alarm
that.
timer. We're gonna have to use that. Just using the
Doesn't
wrong
mean
approach.
someone had to push him off. It's possible that he fell on his own.
Very likely.
What? Nekomaru should have still been in sleep.
Yeah, there we
Allow
go.
me to cut through those words.
I don't know why sometimes things don't click immediately, but I was just using the
What do
wrong
you
one, I
think would
guess.
happen if Nekomaru woke up while he was suspended upside down in midair?
What are you saying? Like, how would he even wake up?
He has an
Fuck.
alarm inside his body. As long as it was armed, it would have deactivated his sleep mode. Which means the killer set the alarm before they suspended Nekomaru.
You woke up from an alarm and realized you were hanging upside down and had no clue why.
You'd panic.
If something like that happened to you, you would start panicking a lot, right?
I would.
Instinctively, your body would start moving. Nekomaru probably did exactly that.
And then, in order to make him fall from the force he was generating, the wire was hung on the tip of the doorknob so it would easily slip off. In actuality, the scrape marks caused by the wire were near the tip of the doorknob, right?
Yeah.
But Nekomaru didn't fall because the wire came off, right?
Broke.
He fell because the entire doorknob came off.
When Nekomaru awoke, he must have struggled much more than expected, which caused the doorknob to break off.
Was that unexpected for the killer too?
Well, that's probably it. If they knew it'd leave behind evidence like that, they would have at least tried to do something to cover it up.
The killer didn't expect the doorknob to come off. The reason that even happened was because... In that case, I shall use my full power. He already half broke it. With a fierce roar, Nekomaru put all his power into grabbing the doorknob with both hands, but... Clatter, 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 clatter. Not yet. Here it comes. The incredible strength of 1 million horsepower. And... Wait, isn't that creaking? If you break out the doorknob, we'll be stuck in here. That's really what it was. And that's the clue Nekomaru left for us to
I
find.
see. So that's how Nekomaru fell to his death.
Do you finally understand now?
Yeah. It appears it's just as Miss Sonia said. I'm just a pest. No, I'm not just a pest.
Oh my god.
I'm a total fucking pig. Isn't that right, Miss Sonia? If I'm a fucking pig, you can say so.
No, I believe you gave your all.
Hey, why aren't you teasing me anymore?
This guy, he gets off on this.
Yeah, probably.
So thanks to that alarm, Nekomaru ended up falling while he was still hanging upside down.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he just crashed straight into the floor. Of course, you know that too, right?
He hit the pillar. It doesn't mean Nekomaru crashed straight into the floor. The moment Nekomaru fell to the floor, the only thing I could think of that happened to him was he collided with the pillar.
I see!
Obviously.
When Nekomaru fell to the floor, he ended up colliding with the pillar. Isn't that it?
Finally, the pillar!
So that's how the pillar shattered, and why oil was spilled all over the place.
See, I told you the pillar was the weapon. My gut was totally right.
Well, the pillar was a bonus. It's not even clear if the killer intended that, or if it was just a coincidence.
It could have probably just a coincidence.
At this point, it is quite difficult to find a clue that will lead to the killer.
Then what about the alarm? I'm positive the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m. And if we map it out from there...
That would explain why the alarm upstairs was set for the same.
Hold on, baby gangsta.
Stop calling me baby gangsta!
What'd you just say? Did you say the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.?
You didn't check it yourself? Nekomaru's alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nah, that's impossible. because even though I slept in a little, I still got to the tower at 7 in the morning.
Now that you mention it, so did I.
You're right.
There was no way I could be late for Monokuma Tai Chi, so I left for Grape Tower before 7 a.m.
And if we found Nekomaru's body there, it would have been before the 7:30 a.m. alarm went off.
It appears yet another contradiction has been birthed. How were you able to discover Nekomaru died at 7:30 a.m. when you went to the tower at 7?
That's what I want to know!
Another mystery I don't understand. Seriously, it's just one after I don't understand this one myself. Except 7:30 p.m. could have been it. I can't answer up at a time like this, just a little more and I'll be able to reach the truth. There should definitely be a clue to breaking through this contradiction. Good night button, for Yuhiko's account, wall clock. Wall clock or for Yuhiko's account. One of the two.
We headed for Grape Tower. Before 7 a.m., I am certain.
That's correct.
But the alarm inside Nekomaru's chest was set for 7:30 a.m.
And it was.
Nekomaru died because of that alarm, right?
His time of death and the time the body was discovered. One of those must be an illusion.
The killer probably did some tampering. They probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest. That's gotta be it!
Messed with the clock inside his chest. The alarm that caused Nekomaru's death rang at 7:30 a.m., but we discovered his body at 7 a.m. I need to crush one possibility at a time if I'm going to break through this contradiction.
We had...
Cool boy. 5:30, the alarm of the wall clock in the lounge on Strawberry House's second floor. Speakers of the lounge, by coincidence, managed to stop the alarm because we got him rushed to the lounge after being alerted by the sound. Whoever Nagito was apparently the one who did not hear it. Nekomaru moving toward the first floor circuits. 5. Long time to recover from sleep. It's intervals and automatically adjusts itself if its time is off. Basically, it's an amazingly precise clock that can be tampered with, not even set to the time. So we have to do radio clock because it can't be tampered with.
Before 7 a.m., I am certain.
But the alarm inside was set for 7. Nekomaru died because
His time of death and one of those must be...
The killer probably did some tamper. They probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest.
Break that. You can't mess with the clock. You can't mess with the radio clock.
No, the clock inside his chest was a radio clock, so it would have been impossible to mess with.
So you're saying there's no way the killer could have tampered with the clock?
Maybe the clock Miss Sonia saw was the one that got tampered with.
That's possible.
The clock inside Grape House?
No, I checked all the clocks inside the funhouse.
Oh, that's what I asked you to do. So you really listened to me and checked all the clocks.
And because of that, I can confidently declare that all the clocks had the same time displayed.
When they all could have been tampered
If
with.
there's no possibility that the time was tampered with, then we must doubt that human's testimony.
Please believe me, we are not lying.
Then maybe it's a misunderstanding?
I never misunderstand. I'll crush you into dog food.
Cool. This time-related contradiction, I don't think I should doubt the testimonies. I should doubt the clock. There's no mistake that something was done, but what was it? Perhaps we overlooked something. Maybe we're misunderstanding something. Think, if I focus and think, I should be able to find the answer to that mystery. I just think all of it was. Logic dive! I just think all the clocks are fucked with. I do really like these. Alright, let's go. Woo! Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't know we were gonna make that. Question 1. What did Hajime and the others misunderstand? Where the murder happened, the time in the building. Who the killer is? It's the time in the building. 3 options I'm not completely used to. Ooh. Oh, that's awkward. Ooh, that's awkward. Question 2. Okay. Which clock was tampered with? Both. The Nekomaru's... No, the building's clocks, not... Yeah, just the building's clocks. You can't tamper with both, because Nekomaru's can't be fucked with. Crazy, this one just... hard on the head, isn't it? Okay, good. That's fine, that's fine. Little damage. I didn't keep the speed going. That's on me too. I should have kept the speed up, but I didn't realize we were gonna get a big jump. Which house had the wrong time? Both houses. Because both the clocks were fucked with. Ezzy Pezzy.
It's all coming together.
Ezzy Pezzy.
You said you checked all the clocks inside the building. Isn't that right, Fuyuhiko?
Yeah, none of the clocks had the wrong time.
But what if all those clocks have been messed with?
What? All the clocks?
So even if you checked all the clocks inside the building, there's no way you'd have noticed it.
I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole building by changing all the clocks.
And we can't see outside, you know the difference.
So that's what it was.
So.
There's no way I would have noticed that.
This is truly fantastic!
Now's not the time to be pleased. More importantly, how much was the time off?
Must be a bit. She's right. That's the main problem. I need to clarify by how much the time was off after the killer messed with the clocks. Honestly, it's not going to be that hard. That's definitely the next mystery. I'm going to reach the truth in one go. I have to make my argument. Clock's alarm.
If the time in the building was all messed up, then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be in our time?
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that down?
Fuyuhiko's account.
If only I heard the sound when you fell. It would have been a great clue.
That doesn't help.
Or his scream.
He's not the type to let out a scream.
If only Nekomaru's alarm was loud enough, we would have heard it too.
There's no point in saying that. If does not exist in this world.
Like, how much of the killer just the time inside the building? How would I even figure that out?
If the time in the building was all messed up, then we can only rely on Nekomaru.
Hold on, what clock's alarm time? Is that the wall clock? No?
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
Can't choose Fuyuhiko's account at that.
Crap!
Okay, no, you're right. That was a bad choice.
If the time in the building was, then we can only rely on Nekomaru. The time of death was clearly 7:30.
The problem is, what time it's in our time?
Okay.
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that
Yeah,
down?
If only I heard the sound when you fell.
Doesn't help. I didn't think that would help.
Damn it!
We have
If
the
the time in
account,
the
the
building was
elevator,
all messed
the
up,
appearance, the timer, which isn't gonna help.
Then we can only
Broken
rely on
door,
Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death.
What's Akane's account? What's Akane's account? Is there a rumbling noise around 5:30 a.m.? Maybe it's the 5:30 a.m. and what I'm supposed to be using. Maybe I gotta use that. not Fuyuhiko's.
It's clearly 7:30 a.m.
Okay, so she heard something around
in
5:30.
our time.
Are there any clues that can be used? If only I heard the sound when he fell.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
If she heard it fell at 5:30, the sound when he fell. I actually know it's 5:30 though. If the clocks were fucked.
That's right. We should have heard the sound he made when he fell. Wasn't it that rumbling noise?
Rumbling?
I thought it was just an earthquake, so I went back to sleep. Was that the sound from when Nekomaru fell?
Well, a huge body fell from the 4th floor to the 1st, and the pillar fell with it. It's obvious we'd hear the impact sound.
We heard that noise too.
It was when we were gathered at the Strawberry House Lounge.
The lounge.
What is it, Sonia?
Oh, well. That sound everyone heard? I did not hear it at all.
Huh?
Neither did Nagito.
You probably didn't hear it because you were sleeping.
I could not sleep at all. I was awake the whole night with hunger pangs.
There's nothing to worry about. What's important is that rumbling noise anyway.
If we use that rumbling sound as a reference, we might be able to figure out how much our time was off.
Why did she know?
I heard that sound probably around 5:30 in the morning.
Huh? You can tell?
I instantly woke up and left my room. And that's when I saw the clock in the lounge.
Excellent work, Akane!
The rumbling sound we heard was at 5:30 a.m. It's like the answer to how much our time was off is literally in front of me. Oh, if we heard at 5:30, it was actually 7:30 in the morning. And that's why nobody showed up for Tai Chi.
Nekomaru's alarm went off at 7:30, and if we heard the sound of his impact at 5:30, that means our time was off by 2 hours.
2 hours? That much?
We're
Yep.
starving pretty bad, though. There's no way we would have noticed.
Plus, the funhouse has no windows. And there weren't any Monokuma announcements either.
However, for what reason did the killer alter our perception of time?
The reason is obvious. So they can lure out just Nekomaru.
Lure out only Nekomaru.
If you messed with the clocks and used a specific thing, you definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right?
Because he had the only clock accurate.
From there, the killer's plan was a splendid success. That's all it needs.
Besides messing with the time, the killer also used a specific thing. If they were trying to lure out only Nekomaru, then that specific thing is the clock's alarm. No, Monokuma Tai Chi.
I see!
Not the alarm. Tai Chi.
That's it. The killer made use of the Monokuma Tai Chi activity in the morning.
How did they use it?
We were required to go to Great Tower every morning at 7 a.m. for that activity, right?
Yeah.
But if they messed with all the clocks inside the building, what would that do to us?
We wouldn't be able to attend on time, but that wouldn't affect Nekomaru. His radio clock had the exact time.
That's right. In doing so, the killer was able to lure him to the tower by himself at the precise time.
That's wild.
When I witnessed Nekomaru early in the morning,
If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 a.m. And if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Tai Chi, right on schedule.
Fuck.
See, now that I think about it, I realize what Monokuma meant when he said those words.
By everyone skipped.
Too early! He didn't even ask you yet!
Jeez, how outrageous. I honestly didn't expect everyone to ditch Monokuma Tai Chi. But it turned out like this after all, so I guess it can't be helped.
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time, but in truth, it was way past the meeting time.
Ah, jeez! That's, well, how should I put
You
it?
fucked up.
What was it? You know, tripping over a foot, or something like that.
Are you talking about tripping over someone else's fall?
Wrong! Too bad!
That doesn't make sense.
Liar! I'm right!
That's not it! It's incorrect!
That's definitely the correct answer. You always get so stubborn like this.
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery.
Please.
Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru, the number of suspects has drastically decreased.
Huh?
Hey, why would that decrease the number of suspects? Don't be a friggin' liar.
No, it
You'll
does.
know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next.
huh? What the hell do you mean?
You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that?
It did.
Are you talking about that alarm?
Alarm?
A little while after I witnessed Nekomaru, the clock in the Strawberry House lounge started going off. Plus, it was just before that rumbling sound occurred. That's it. So that's what it is. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an alibi at the time is the prime suspect.
Really? Was there anyone who didn't have an alibi at that time?
I remember now. The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting from my room. But there was one guy who never left the lounge. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty weird that bastard never came out of his guest room.
Which means that person does not have an alibi for when Nekomaru fell?
Who is it? Who's the bastard?
Nagito? It's whoever doesn't have an alibi for that time, right? Select someone. You don't have an alibi.
You're the only one! The one who wasn't there. It's you, right, Nagito?
That's right. Nagito wasn't there.
Somehow, I knew that. That was on the other
It's
side.
just me, Gundam, and Fuyuhiko.
You didn't come out, even though the alarm was going off like crazy. You weren't in your room, were you?
If that's the case, where were you?
Please, say something!
If you don't hurry up and answer, I'm gonna suicide dive you!
Don't do
If I
that.
may be frank, even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't.
Oh, 1 second to do a quick pause. Had to respond to a text, Sora.
You couldn't? What do you mean?
What do you mean? Oh! Oh, God. Sorry, just keep checking my recording.
It's merely the foolish talk of the weak.
Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound.
He couldn't.
You're definitely fucking lying.
Whoever was in a specific room probably didn't hear it.
However, that is also true for me. It is obvious that I did not hear the alarm in Strawberry House. But I did not hear the rumbling sound either. Is that not strange? I mean, everyone else heard it.
Shiaki didn't
To be
either.
honest, it's not just them. The same goes for me
If
too.
you were in the luxury suites, you did not hear it.
I was in a pretty deep sleep, so I thought that's why I couldn't hear it. But it wasn't that. I probably couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it? What does that mean?
You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common. And I'm sure you'll figure it out.
They're all in the luxury, basically. The only people who didn't hear the rumbling noise were Nagito, Sonia, and Shiaki. The secret is what these three have in common. Could this also be a secret that points to the killer? I don't know if it's called luxury. Where's an X? I want an L, I think. It ain't luxury. Fuck. What was the word they used? There was the crummy... Deluxe. It's deluxe. That's why. Here's an E. B. Fuck! Click the wrong button. D, E, L. U. Deluxe Suite. It's X. tea. Chase, come on. You know English. Why are you fucking up English? Deluxe rooms? It's rooms! Fuck! 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 Oh! There's a lot of letters coming in. Deluxe rooms, I guess. Those deluxe suite.
Oh well. Nagito, Sonia, and Chiaki. The three of you were staying in deluxe room, right?
Yeah.
If I recall, the deluxe rooms are...
Basically soundproof. The guest rooms are divided up by quality grade. The deluxe room is soundproof and has excellent air insulation. The standard room may have so-so insulation, but it's still pretty decent. And the common room has severe airflow and draft problems.
The reason we could not hear the rumbling noise...
It's the room.
That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation.
Hell yeah.
You actually noticed that. Nice catch, Hajime. Are you using your ultimate reserve corps student talent?
I really want to hurt him. No.
Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer.
Hold on a sec. Why does that lead to who the killer is?
Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue, and a decisive factor in identifying the killer.
Decisive factor?
Decisive factor. So I feel like I understand what Nagito means. The killer among us. The killer who murdered Nekomaru. Gundam.
You're the only one!
It's just Gundam.
Gundam, there's something I want to ask you. When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, you rushed over there too, right?
He did.
What's wrong with that?
He also had a deluxe room, didn't he?
If the bell of catastrophe rings throughout the night, it is the universe's providence to stop it.
You had the deluxe room, you wouldn't hear it.
Why were you able to hear it?
Hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right? Nagito was staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it. So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Now that you mention it...
Yeah, Gundam.
Gundam?
There's only one possibility. You weren't in your room at the time. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room, you still went to the lounge. Am I right?
Gundam, you have some sort of explanation, right?
Gundam probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko.
Me?
But you were lurking in the
After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower,
lounge.
you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Nekomaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
Like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode and tying him up with the wire.
In order to do that, the killer needed to be waiting for Nekomaru at the tower. Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru, the killer was already at the tower.
Obviously.
And once they tried to go back, they couldn't because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off. And they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound, thus proving they were in the room.
Christ, this is
Just
fun.
like us.
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone and checked the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi.
Because I was in the lounge.
So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
Hey, what are you doing? It's raucous. It's louder than the supreme ruler of the netherworld bellowing for a sacrifice. Don't go making all that noise so suddenly.
But why'd you come out? You should have hid till the excitement died down.
If Gundam tried to hide, and if those two went to his room to check on him, he would have been found out. That would have been the worst possible outcome. That's why he couldn't just stay hidden.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed.
Gundam? Please, can you at least say something?
Answer me this, including myself and my 4 dark devas of destruction. How many ears do we possess?
Well, 2 times 4. Well, no, 2, 4, 6, 8. You have 12. I don't know, I said 2 times 4. There's 5 of you.
The answer is 10. That's right, I possess 10 ears.
Why'd I say 12? I don't know.
That means I have 5 times the hearing of a normal human.
Too much whiskey.
The soundproof system here may as well not exist.
Is that your argument?
That's his argument.
You bastard! Do you understand the situation you're in right now?
Do not panic. The truth shall now commence.
He's starting to sweat.
At the time, I left my room to go to the bathroom. By coincidence, I heard the alarm. That's right. That's all it was. The world is always so simple.
Are you saying it was just a coincidence? Isn't that timing a little too perfect?
Little.
Yet, I'm being suspected by all of you. It seems it was actually horrible timing on my part.
I see. You're still holding out.
Yep.
Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway.
And it's you, Gundam.
So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundam is the killer.
It's obvious to me.
Hold on a sec.
You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know.
The opening act for what?
Hey! What do you mean the class trial is just the opening act?
That's what I'm at.
Perhaps I should say, it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers.
From boredom.
Seriously. Let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health.
Nagito, something definitely happened to you, didn't it?
Yeah.
At some point during the investigation, your behavior became even weirder. What actually happened? Did you discover something?
Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already.
You said opening act again!
Please hold on! We have yet to hear Gundam's rebuttal!
But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore.
Gundam!
I was simply at a loss for words after being dumbfounded by your pathetic assumption.
Here we go. The fight begins.
In fact, I shall deny the very basis. Your assumption has been wrong since the beginning.
I'm so glad that I think this is the first time in this series that I had the killer pegged from the beginning.
Since the beginning?
Based on your assumption, I hung Nekomaru from the 4th floor of the tower and made the floor descend to the 1st floor. From there, after returning to Strawberry House, I was present when the alarm at the lounge went off, correct? Although going to and fro is busy enough as it is, how would I be able to travel between both houses anyway?
Elevator?
The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Grape House control panel, which shut down the elevator. Plus, the stopped elevator should have been facing the Grape House side. If so, the human who used the elevator would have left it at Grape House.
Ah, but this is where that final dead room's gonna come into play.
For these reasons, it's an indisputable fact that the killer destroyed the elevator at Grape House.
And what's wrong with that?
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, he wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
However, I was already at Strawberry House. I was present when the alarm in the lounge started ringing, which means your assumption is clearly wrong.
It's not
Are you
wrong.
serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
It's not wrong. Come on, Soda. Believe in it.
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction.
Oh yeah, I can. That's wrong. But something's obviously wrong, that's when a contradiction is born. There's no such thing as a contradiction that can't be overcome. You got it. We need the sudden appearance. Sudden appearance. Fuck! I might be able to absorb something, though.
That elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses.
It is not.
As long as that elevator was broken, your assumption collapses.
Plus, the elevator was
Broke, yes.
broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House,
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
Would
Wrong.
have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
Absorb that.
How
That's
much longer
obvious.
do you plan to lecture me? Why don't we stop this already?
Obviously, we just gotta absorb the secret passageway and we gotta toss it at the elevator. It's the only.
The elevator was the only means of travel between.
It is not the only means
No,
of
that's
travel.
wrong.
You stupid bastard. This is where we got you because Nagito also went through the final
there
dead
should have
room.
been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
Such a method does not exist.
Oh yeah, it does.
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
The person who actually used it. Where are you, my sweet little biscuit? There you are.
You're the only one! Nagito, you should know.
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
He did. Nagito, why are you here? Because I showed up.
There's a secret passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show up. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House.
And it goes right to the
After I
third
opened
floor.
the door and went down. Surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma Archive, which is on the third floor of Grape House.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know it came out in the archive. I thought it was like a
Third floor
up to
and
the
the
side.
fourth floor are actually connected.
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
And that's what made the structure the ultimate weapon.
Infinity Unlimited Flame!
Come again?
However, what if the killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room?
There's no way they didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you have fabricated from your own suspicion.
No, it ain't.
If you value your life, you should stop with your scrutiny.
There's no way I can stop.
Did you say?
Tanaka, you're done.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Nice quote. Nice quote. Wire, good night. Pillar, the fragments, the alarm, the radio. I don't know which of these it is.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I
Oh,
feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I don't know if I progressed. I didn't progress.
Back down!
Duel! Failed!
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I can't back down!
Come up. Got him. Oh,
I already
Sorry,
proved
tongue
the
was
secret
going there.
passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Hey,
Know
bitch.
the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light!
Okay, I have to fight that. It means try providing evidence that the killer went to the Octagon, right? If that's the case, I should have it too. The key in which dwells the light, that'll break through the dark.
Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say
Hammer.
the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion, at least pray
What?
to the key which dwells in the light! Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon.
I do.
Don't bark, you cur!
Wire.
Don't want to drown, at least pray to
Fuck!
the key which dwells
Why
in the
did
light!
it cut that? Must be the wire. Wire
Know the
must be
limits of your
weapon.
own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon.
I do.
Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom.
Wire.
Allow me to cut through those words.
Figured hammer,
The
but
wire used to string up Nekomaru's body, the hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower.
all came
Those
from
are all
that.
the items that weren't in Funhouse.
The only place I can think of is the Octagon.
Hell yeah. Only place I can think of too.
There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
If that's the case, we obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
It seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case. But there's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act. So I'm going to end this right now.
Oh, do we actually get to the
Hey, what do you...
Do we actually? It's about another hour.
First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru.
Do we not
The
have to-
elevator was probably broken by that point. Thanks to that, Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well, it's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, we didn't know the two towers were the exact same place. Also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was easily able to enter Strawberry Tower. But surprise! Gundam was waiting for Nekomaru's arrival.
Hold on. If Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry Tower, what would the killer have done then?
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties. But even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded. They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
True.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.
I'm going to continue summarizing the case, okay?
He's basically doing the piecing together part for us.
Through this, Gundam successfully lured Nekomaru to Strawberry Tower. There's no way he could fight head-on with the robotic Nekomaru, so by pressing the goodnight button, he rendered Nekomaru powerless without fighting him.
Hold on! You... What did you just say? That I didn't battle?
What's wrong with that?
Don't mess with me!
Uh-oh.
Don't mess with me! I cannot ignore those words!
He just snapped.
Why are you angry all of a sudden?
You fools do not understand! You don't understand at all! Ha! You make me laugh! After all this time, you still don't understand anything at all!
You're a breeder, man.
I don't understand anything. What does that mean?
Appears I cannot finish just yet. Maybe I'm just a human destined for hell. However, I cannot finish just yet. I cannot finish!
What do you intend to do?
It's obvious. I'm going to destroy your illusory assumptions.
Are you saying you still have more? You still have room to argue?
Hey, no.
Your words. You said I pressed Nekomaru's goodnight button. However, that button was on the back of Nekomaru's neck. To press it, I'd have to get behind him.
It's not easy to get the drop on Coach Nekomaru.
It's even more difficult if it's a one-on-one situation.
Just as I thought. Truly frail. Succumbing so easily to this simple argument. It was just a mere illusion. If you want to set me up as the killer, at least surpass your own human limitation.
I don't think it's really that bad, but okay.
That's wrong, Gundam. You're the one who's wrong.
Such a wonderful line. However, I cannot say that I'm satisfied. Listen well. I shall teach you 2 tips for making someone admit their defeat. First, you must crush them with your own overwhelming power. And as for the other...
I want to put this out there. In the first game, basically the team at all times was Makoto, Naegi. I said Nagai, but it's Naegi, I think. And Kirigiri. It worked well, but Kirigiri was always very calm, and she wasn't psychotic, and neither was Makoto. But the balance of Hajime and Nagito in this, the balance of sane and insane, you still have the ultimate lucky student in there, but you also have a talentless hack. I do appreciate this pairing better of Nagito and Hajime than I did to Makoto and Kirigiri. I appreciate it much more. And I like these 2 characters actually better than those 2. I like the overall cast of the first game better. But the pairing of the 2 leads, I like much better in this game. Much, much better. Mind you, it was the second go-around, they had more time to work. Well, not more time to work, even, just... You know. They had more of a thought process, maybe, I don't know. But the pairing of Hajime and Nagito in this is way better than the Makoto-Kirigiri duo.
You must provide a reason that will persuade that human. You have not fulfilled either of those yet.
I guess you really don't want to admit it. Then just as you requested, I will provide an argument you'll leave. That'll leave you no choice but to be persuaded. Panic Talk. I hate Panic Talk, I do.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies!
Hit me.
Show me the cadaver! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire!
For some reason, it feels like the button press is a
Crushed
little
as
off.
David prophesies! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! For the Tanaka Empire!
Fuck.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David
Had to do fever.
prophesies! Show me the cadaver! I won't let you! For the
Look at
Tanaka
the dead.
Empire!
Just magic.
Crushed as David prophesies! I won't let you!
He's done,
For
man.
the Tanaka Empire! It's Nekomaru's back. Do you really think I can get behind him so easily?
The 4 Dark Devas.
The end.
Boom, bitch. I forgot that this was the 4-button clicker one.
Even if you didn't get behind Nekomaru, you should have been able to press the button on the back of his neck. As long as you have the power of the hamsters you keep with you.
Oh? Are you seriously saying he used his hamsters to press the button on the back of Nekomaru's neck?
Oh, yeah.
Of course that'd be impossible for a normal hamster, but it would have been possible for Gundams. In fact, we saw that with our very own eyes, right?
They can press buttons. Emissary of Evil, in accordance with our ancient contract, the time has come to lend me your aid. Pierce through Supernova Silver Fox on D. Press the button? Surely this is the Skyline lamination art of the Demon Mouse. Fwahahaha! Soon the door of destiny shall open.
Now that you mention it, After Ibuki was killed in the music venue, one of Gundam's hamsters retrieved the piece of wallpaper from the baton lighting, right?
You did?
Hey, with your friends and their exceptionally smart brains, it must have been possible to secretly get one of them behind Mekamaru and press the button on the back of his neck.
How about it, Gundam?
He's done.
Not just myself, but you actually brought up how splendid my subordinates are. I have no recourse but to admit it.
Admit it? Did you say you admit it?
Yes, the one you actually, for some reason, I think fell in love with.
It appears I've obtained a one-way ticket to hell. Fine! Then you must trample me underfoot and advance. Victory can only be built upon a foundation of corpses. You cannot find peace without sacrifice anywhere. Now, trample this life. Trample it as though it were mere trash on the side of the road.
Okay.
Pull the curtain strings of this worthless performance with your own two hands.
He's fine with dying. And now I have to make the closing argument? Fuck! Okay, so that's the elevator. Who set the lounge's clock alarm? Hamster and murder. Okay, I gotta fill this in different spots first. Fuyuhiko. What time did Fuyuhiko see Nekomaru? Can't do that yet. That's it. Nothing there. Nekomaru's weakness is his back button. No, I didn't think it would work. No, that was bad. His feet. What? What was the fake weapon left? This. That's easy. Two gathered at the lounge. The whole group. And why did Nekomaru fall? Well, because this broke. Okay. We're gonna go back to the beginning then. Yeah, I didn't figure, but whatever. So this was what time before you? Hiko see Nekomaru. It's 5 right now. Okay. Not bad. Nekomaru's weakness is hamster pressed it! Hell yeah, the wire wrapped around Nekomaru's feet. No. The killer destroyed. What? Messing with the... Okay, that's the elevator. Buddy. Okay, that ain't it. Who gathered at the lounge? Oh, who heard a rumbling? Oh. Makoto. Easy. He looks evil there. Gonna put that out there. Who set the lounge clock's alarm? Okay, so that's the meetup. Where's the meetup at? That's the same image. That goes here. And this just says the killer destroyed what? After leaving the tower. He set it. So I'm just missing. Who set the alarm? him out of the fun house. I've got a ton of life here. Chain on the door. I'm not doing a double. Set the alarm. No, that picture's also there. He hooked it to the doorknob. Christ, I'm stupid. Hell yeah. So that just leaves basically what he destroyed, which is the button.
Here's everything that happened in this case.
Okay, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad.
Let's first go over the many tricks the killer prepared before they committed the crime.
I knew how it went, but I just fucked up a bit.
First, they destroyed the contact elevator.
Christ, we're over an hour.
This
Okay.
separated Nagito and the others in Strawberry House from our group in Grape House.
Yeah.
Next, they lured Nekomaru out by himself by turning back.
Oh, I clicked too early.
Additionally, in order to secure an alibi, the killer went to the Strawberry House lounge and set the wall clock's alarm to 5:30 a.m. After finishing their preparations, the killer went to Strawberry Tower with the necessary tools in hand. They obtained these tools from the Octagon, which you can enter once you clear the final depth.
Which I
This
suppose he
means
did.
the killer discovered the secret of the funhouse faster than anybody else. That secret being, Strawberry House and Grape House are actually the same building. On the morning of the incident, Nekomaru woke up and headed over to Great Tower for a specific reason.
It is said he died.
There, Fuyuhiko, who was at the lounge by coincidence, witnessed Nekomaru. According to Fuyuhiko's testimony, that was around 5 a.m. But by that point, the killer had already messed with our perception of time. In actuality, Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru at 7 a.m. That's also the same time Monokuma Tai Chi begins. Nekomaru went to Grape Tower to participate in that.
We got this.
However, because the contact elevator was broken, Nekomaru was unable to go to Grape Tower. So he decided to try going to Strawberry Tower. But the killer was waiting for him there. With the power of hamsters, they were able to press the good night button on the back of Nekomaru's neck. This forced him to enter sleep mode, rendering him immobile.
Fucking using
From there,
hamsters.
the killer began preparing to use the ultimate weapon.
The building itself.
First, they set the alarm in Nekomaru's chest to 7:30 a.m. so he'd wake up. Then they tied him up with a metal wire, tied the tip of the wire into a loop, and hung it on the doorknob. After leaving Strawberry Tower, the killer then destroyed the door button to Strawberry Hall. They did this to keep us from entering Strawberry Tower, and to keep us from discovering the secret of the building's structure that they used to kill Nekomaru. Then, they used the secret octagon passageway to travel to Grape House. After arriving at Grape Hall, they pressed the button to open the door to the tower.
Bringing it down.
When that happened, the elevator-like floor of the tower began descending, and Nekomaru's body was still inside, dangling upside down in midair from the wire. The killer entered Grape Tower to see if their setup was successful, and placed a hammer on the floor to look like the weapon, then wrapped a chain around the back door. This was done to make us falsely believe we couldn't enter the tower from Strawberry Hall. With this, the killer finished their setup and tried to go back to their room using the secret passage, so they could craft their alibi when Nekomaru died from the fall. But something unexpected happened. Fuyuhiko, who saw Nekomaru earlier, was still at the lounge.
They
As a
never went back to bed.
The killer couldn't return to their room, and with no options available, time ran out. The lounge's wall clock alarm started ringing at 5:30. Well, actually 7:30. To avoid a worst-case scenario, the killer was forced to appear in front of Fuyuhiko with the others. When the wall clock's alarm rang, that was also the same time Nekomaru was waking up. He woke up while he was still hanging upside down, so he couldn't help but sway his body powerfully. Originally, the loop of wire was only supposed to slip off the doorknob, but because there was a heavier load than expected, the doorknob ended up breaking. Nekomaru fell from the 4th floor all the way to the 1st floor. He crashed into the pillar, which decapitated him on impact, and died. The sound of Nekomaru's impact echoed throughout the funhouse. However, by this point, the killer's plan was about to fail, thanks to the broken doorknob and Fuyuhiko. Meaning, the killer is someone who wouldn't have heard the alarm if they were in the deluxe room. They also wouldn't have been able to return to their guest room, because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
It goes to Gundam Tanaka.
That someone is Gundam Tanaka. I can't think of anyone else but you.
You bastard, you.
Splendid. That was splendid. For a mere human, you did quite well.
I thank you.
Stop. Stop it already. Stop using weird words to avoid the truth. Or I'll friggin' kill you myself!
I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe.
Doesn't matter if you believe it, Sonia.
You killed Nekomaru? I cannot believe something like that.
You don't wish to forgive me? Do you feel regret? Then finish it! Cast your impure votes for Gundam Tanaka!
I enjoy how he's like holding on to his character.
My beloved, deadly foes, let the voting time begin!
I really do. Oh, looks like we actually didn't do... well, 15 we did poor. Yeah, B. B's not bad. B's not bad. So since this episode went an hour and 12, we will conclude Chapter 4 in the next episode. It's just easier if I do that, because, yeah, we've already got an hour and 12 minutes and 14 seconds according to my OBS here at the moment. That's good for 2 episodes. We completed the trial, but normally the conclusion takes about 20 minutes anyway of a chapter. So we will finish. We will see Gundam Tanaka get executed. I'm glad, as I said, that I picked Gundam was the killer out of the male group. I knew that it had to be a male. We had a female killer last time. We lost 3 females in one swipe. I was like, we cannot just wipe out all the females. We wiped out 2 males this time. Made sense to me mathematically. I'll see you on the next episode of Danganronpa 2. Goodbye, Despair. Take care till then, my friends.